Hello all, my name is Hitesh Tamani and welcome to my YouTube channel. So guys, today I am back with another interesting problem statement in Advanced SQL. This problem statement is based on time series concept. So make sure you watch the video till end to learn something new today. So yeah, so basically as we can see, we have transaction level table with us from a e-commerce company. So in this particular table, we have like product wise like spend which a particular user had made along with the transaction ID and transaction date, right? So basically, the problem statement with us is like we have to find year over year growth for total spend of each product, right? So as we can see, we have like transaction date over here. So in this particular transaction date, we have like year wise spend for a particular product. So let's say for product ID 123424 as we can see, we have like year-wise transaction date over here, right? And basically like how much amount like a particular user had spent for this particular product, right? Similarly for the second product, right? Now the thing is like we have to find year over year rate, right? So basically year over year growth or year over year degrowth. What do we mean by that, right? So this is the like really very important concept in time series analysis, right? So let's say like you guys might be wondering like how we have to calculate year over year growth, right? Or year over year degrowth, let's say, right? So year over year growth is nothing but basically how much amount or how much basically decrease or increase you have made with respect to previous year, right? So let's take an example with respect to this particular data itself, right? So as we can see, like in 2020 for this particular product we spent 1,000 rupees, right? In 2019, let's say a user had spent like 1,500 rupees, right? So basically, there is a drop in spend, right? If we are comparing with respect to 2019, right? Now, how can we calculate this change in drop, right? Or let's say over here it's drop, but let's say if we compare 2020 with 2021, so basically there is a like increase in spend, right? So how we can basically calculate like let's say if there is an increase or if there is a decrease, how we can calculate that particular thing, right? So year over year, growth or degrowth is nothing but change in amount of spend which we had made, right? Please make a note of this. Like it would be a change in amount which we have spent, right? So how can we calculate change over here basically? Change is nothing but spend of current year. So I'm using current year over here. Let's say it could be spend, it could be sales or anything else, right? So current year minus previous year, okay? And then we have to basically divide this with respect to previous year. Okay. So the the whole subtraction of current year and previous year, we have to divide this with previous year, right? Let me just make it equal to E. Okay. So this would be your formula for year over year growth, right? Now let's say like if you have to calculate quarter over quarter, so formula will remain as is. It will be current quarter minus previous quarter divided by previous quarter, right? Similarly for week over week, right? So this could be your formula for year over year, right? Now, like how can we basically calculate this in SQL, right? So let me just quickly tell you. So over here, basically, we are having transaction date with us, right? So in order to calculate year over year, first of all, we have to extract year from this, right? So let me just quickly tell you how we can do that in SQL. So to get like year from this date, we are having simple function in SQL as like year, right? This is this is a date time function, and using which like we will be able to get year from a particular date. So year of transaction date, I am giving alias as year, right? I can take product ID as well, okay? And I am taking spend as well. Okay. So these are the basically fields I am in need of. Let me just quickly run this query and we'll show you like how it will look like. So yeah, as we can see in 2019 product ID and we are having spent, right? Now, basically, what we have to calculate, right? What is our like basically formula over here? It's current year minus previous year divided by previous year, right? So let's say like for this particular year 2020, right? The current year spent will be 1,000, right? But previous year spent will be 1,500, right? So can I say this thing? If I get this particular spend, which is of previous year, over here along with this 1,000, then I will be able to basically make this computation, right? Similarly, for 2021, let's say our current year spend is 1246, right? But previous year spend is 1,000. So let's say if I will get this 1,000 along with 1246, I will be easily make this computation, right? So how can we get like previous row value in the next row, right? So in SQL, we have like in advanced SQL, basically, we have like analytical functions, right? So in that particular thing, we have like two analytical functions which are really powerful, which are like lag and lead, right? So lag is nothing but basically it will give you previous row's record along with the current row. Okay, so that is the use of lag. What lead will does, it will basically give you next row's record with along with the previous row. Okay, so basically, let's say if we are using lag, so what it will do, it will give you this 1,500 along with 1,000. Okay. Similarly, if you are using lead, so what it will do, it will give you this 1246 along with 1,000. Okay. So let me just quickly tell you how it will look like. So let me just use both, right? So that like you will be easy to like it will be easy for you to compare, right? So I'm using lag, and lag of what we like which value we need over here. We need spend, right? So we are using spend, then over. Okay. Now, since this is a Windows function, so we have to use partition by and order by, right? So I'm using partition by. Partition by what, right? We need this for product ID, right? So I'm using product ID. Okay. Order by, right? Now order by of what, right? I need this particular order. So basically this particular spend should be ordered with respect to the year, right? And for sure product ID as well, right? So like this spend I have to order with respect to each product ID and year, right? From ascending to descending. That's why like that's how I will be able to calculate like year over year then, right? So I'm using order by product ID, right? And then this year, right? Now over here, I have created year using this particular function, right? So I have to use this as is over here. So I'm using year of transaction date, right? And I'm giving it as previous year. Okay, let's say this particular spend, so this particular spend is of current year, right? So I am giving it as current year. Let me just copy it over here and it should be current year. Okay, similarly, let's say if I will use instead of lag, right? Let's say if I will use lead over here, right? So how our query will look like? Let me just give it alias as following year. Okay, so now let me just quickly run this query and we'll show you like how it will look like basically. So yeah, we have output in front of us. So basically, if we can see, we have current year, we have previous year, we have following year, all the three. So let's just compare for this particular record, 2020, right? So basically, our current year spend was 1,000 rupees. Let me just quickly run the original query as well, so that like you guys will be able to compare it. Okay, so let me just copy it from here. Okay, running the entire script. Okay, so as we can see over here, for this particular product ID, for like year 2020, our current year spend was 1,000, right? Previous year spend is 1,500, right? And in this particular record, or in this particular column, we are getting following year spend, right? So as we can see over here, following year spend is like 1246, right? Similarly, for this particular record, previous year spend is 1,000 rupees, right? And next, like following year spend is like 2145, right? Similarly, for this, since we don't have any data for previous year, so previous year spend is null, but following year spend is like 1,000 rupees over here, right? So this is the like basically use of lag and lead. Like these are still like most powerful functions, I would say, right? So now what we have to do, let me just quickly remove this since we don't need this, because in this we need like previous year spend data only. So let me just quickly remove this, right? And let me just run this once again. Okay, so now what we have to do, I think like now it became a little bit easier, right? So we have current year over here, we are having previous year over here. The only thing is we have to basically put this in specific formula, right? So let me just create this as a CTE. So with CTE1 as, okay, and I am calling it out over here. Okay, so yeah, we have this with us, right? So basically, now what we have to do, we have to basically calculate year over year growth, right? So it would be nothing but basically your, yeah. So it would be nothing but basically your current year minus previous year divided by previous year, right? So your current year is nothing but current year only, okay? Then subtraction of your previous year, okay? And then you have to divide this whole thing with previous year, okay? So, and we need this for product ID. Let me just copy it from here. Okay, now if I'm running this, so what I will get over here? Yeah. So as we can see, basically for product ID, let me just take year as well over here, so that like you will be easily it will be easy for you to compare, right? Okay. So as we can see over here, can we take everything so that like you guys will be able to compare like how this calculation is happening? So I'm using current year. I can have previous year as well, right? And let me just run this. Now I won't run the original table, right? So basically, as we can see, we have current year, we have previous year, right? And this is a change, like let's say either growth or degrowth, basically. So this is a year over year change with respect to current year and previous year, right? So this is your year over year growth, right? Now, basically what we have to do, we have to like round it off, right? So how, and we have to calculate this as a percentage as well. So in SQL, how you can calculate it as a percentage? You have to multiply it with 100, right? So I'm multiplying it with 100, and let's say I am rounding it off as well. So I will use round, and we can round it off up to 2 decimal places, right? So let me just run this once again and we'll show it. And let me just give it as alias as YOY. Okay. Now, if I am running this, so let's see how it will look like. So as we can see, we are having year over here, product, current year, previous year, and year over year, right? So since for this particular year, we don't have any data, right? So it will be null. For 2020, it's like 100, and we are having for previous year, it's like 1,500. So there is a drop of 33.35%. This negative sign is showing like drop over here, right? Similarly, for 2021, current year was 1246, previous year is like 1000. So there is a uplift, right? So it's like positive 24.62% growth over there year over year, right? Similarly, if we can see for product ID 1334434, so like since we don't have any data for 2019, so basically it's null. And for rest of the years, it's like we are getting year over year growth over here, right? So yeah, yeah, guys. So like this, you can calculate year over year, quarter over quarter, and week over week growth for any of the product, right? So I hope you like this particular video. Make sure to subscribe the channel if not done yet. See you all in the next video. Thank you one and all. Have a great day ahead. Bye bye.